computer. All right, now we're good.
Okay. Good afternoon. It is 3:03 and I'm calling for Morris Brandon's GOTeam meeting where we will follow as a note and publicly noticed to start. Would like to remind everyone this is a meeting of the GOTeam. We are going to have public comment today, but only members of the team may participate.
Anybody can now participate in public comment today.
Oh, okay.
Right? Public comment today?
Yes.
Yeah. Like Google Form.
Yeah. The Google form I can throw in the
Yeah.
chat, but we'll see if anybody just wants to come up and be in too. That's fine.
Okay. So we're going to call her at, like I said, 3:03 p.m. First order of business is to call roll. Kim will now take the roll.
Okay. I'll just go through. Jay,
President.
Ashley.
Oh,
Yeah.
me actually?
Yes, I'll just go right through. Anna, President, Miss Jordan, President, Ashley, other Ashley, myself, Chris.
Here.
Chris, Miss Manoff, I think is sick. And then Miss Moses. We'll say. And Tiffany, are you on the call?
For me to text her. I just texted her.
Okay, hopefully they'll join.
You want to jump on GoTeam? You can come by the ID room.
Oh, Tiffany's here.
Hey, here's there, yay.
Do you want to sit for a snack? Okay, so,
I'll be here in just a second.
okay, perfect. So the team will only be able to take official action. The form is present. Kim, you good on the form?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, awesome. So our first order of business is to approve the agenda. We have an agenda. So
Yeah.
up on this.
I don't have it posted, I'm sorry, but it was publicly noticed as continuous improvement plan.
Continuous improvement plan today, it was provided publicly noticed. Copies are online.
Yes.
Any changes to the agenda? No. I'm going to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Ashley. Tina, thank you for the second. If you're in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Please say nay. Any abstentions? Please say abstain. Okay. Approved. Now we're going to review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. They were all emailed out to us. Any corrections? Anyone want anything? I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes.
I'll do it.
Thanks, Kim. A second? Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany and Dan. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Okay. All right. So, Jay, I'm kicking it over to you.
All right, awesome. Thank you, team, for coming to our one in-person meeting. Right. I'm gonna slide show it. Now the key is to figure out how to share the Zoom with the slideshow. The new Zoom platform is throwing me off. All right, I need the share button.
It's right there in the green arrow.
Sorry, you're right. Thank you. All right, the screen I need to share is not showing.
Down.
Okay, I just want to make sure and to just make it as easy as possible with just not too many tabs, so I only have don't know why this is not showing. None of my tabs on the bottom are showing and pull up. So just gonna give me a second, everybody. If you're on Zoom, thank you. Hold on. Do this the old fashioned way.
Cooler fall weather. Getting stung by mosquito. Yeah. They're out. It's like
At
80s.
practice, yeah, at practice on Tuesday, we were in practice.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, this is fun.
Okay, that should be good.
Yes.
You're on Zoom downtown. You can hopefully see this. All right. So today we're going to talk a little bit about our strategic plan. The strategic plan was really developed like 5 years ago as kind of setting our goals for the whole 5. Each year we sort of develop it. Next year we actually I think that's the 25 year where we actually start over with it and we just we come back through and look at all of our priorities. So today we're going to look at like 5 on progress, and we're going to continue to tweak our some of our strategies, some of our focuses, and some of our goals. But I love to do it today because this is a great way for our parents to provide input. People that don't know the ins and outs of the school. But I love having teachers here, people like Moses and Jordan and Minnock, if she could be here, because they're the ones that can really tell you, like, oh, this is what we do, this is what we don't do, this is how it looks, this is how it doesn't look. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but these people will be your experts. You know, Jordan is in a different field, but she definitely knows what happens in the school. And then so do I. And we'll talk about how that process will look in a little bit. If we were just going off of this PowerPoint, it's like literally one slide and just take notes on what you guys think. But I feel like that's not the best thing to do it. Like we need to be in person and just kind of brainstorm and look together like in person. So I always do this one this way. This is just a little bit of the agenda for the day. It is the 45-day check-in, but I think we're at day 64. I don't know why it said 45-day, but I guess we actually know what day it is. Here we are in our planning. Remember, the idea for this is to set our strategic plan so everything has been voted on, finalized. So when that budget comes to us in January and we open it up and we go, wow, we make sure that we know where that money's going, right? The idea that if it's on the strategic plan, like money can be allocated towards it, but not everything on the strategic plan needs to have money. Right? It just can be a focus and something that we want to make sure that we're doing for our kids in our school. Okay. Before we break, we're going to vote on that strategic plan. So we're going to come back in December. We have one more meeting. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then I'll take all the notes that you compiled. I'll try and get it out to y'all before so you can review it and poke holes in it. And then the idea would be to, thank you. The idea would be to finalize and vote on that before we leave. So we come back, we're ready to roll with budget season. Cool. All right. All right, we're going to take a look at our continuous improvement plan right now. Gotta have our information. There. If I did not enough, you wouldn't be able to see it.
Take notes.
Yeah. So I printed it. You're wearing glasses to even see it printed. I'm sorry. As I get older too, now I realize that my vision is
You
not
pass
as
it out and
bright as
you
it
can
used to be.
copy.
All right, so go ahead. This is our continuous improvement plan. And I'm going to also give you this note catcher. This is a note catcher that they wanted us to discuss as a group. There's 3 questions on here. These just be guiding questions for you. This is not the most important activity for me today, but I do want you to have this as well. Because that was one of the slides, and that was like the actual only slide I had to take notes on. So I want to make sure that I show you this. Okay. All right. Part of the improvement plan is that all schools are completing their quarterly check-in. It's quarterly. Questions to consider based on our year-long CIP. That's our continuous improvement plan. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. What are the actions the school's already completed? What data supports the completion of an action step and success criteria and so forth? As a reminder, we have 2 living plans. We have a continuous improvement plan. We have a continuous improvement plan, which is like done by us, the principals, the admin team, our supervisors, and we really map out strategies for our students that are super granular and very hard for like people that are not in the school world to understand. Lots of jargon, lots of lingo, lots of data. Then we also have the strategic plan. This is very much like bigger picture, right? Continuous improvement plan is kind of year to year. It should be fluid. We change it as we go. This is big picture 5-year. This is very much for our community and for them to understand. There shouldn't be a lot of jargon on here. There shouldn't be a lot of what does that mean. This should be very much like I can give this to somebody who wants to come to our school and they can say, that's the school I want to go to, right? Continuous improvement plan, which I'm going to show you in a minute, is not something like that, but we have to find a link between the two, right? It can't be two separate living documents. So a perfect example of that is we know our continuous improvement plan goals. Last year it was to move from 70 to 75%. Now it's from 75 to 80%. We have to get those goals on here. Let's have the same goals for both, right? When we pick up 5% of our school and we move them like we did in the past for reading and math, all of our subgroups are going to grow. This needs to be more big picture. So that's like a good example of that. Okay. All right. This is it right here. This is our continuous improvement plan. And we're just going to kind of look through it. I want you to just kind of see it. We're actually doing a lot of work with this with our admin team now because we're doing our check-ins. The idea is to make sure that we're doing all the things on here. And if we're not doing it, who brought this?
I did, you know.
I love those right first. And then I'm like, oh, I need to get a Rice Krispie treat. Okay. So the continuous improvement plan, that's very much like year to year, right? We're setting this goal right now. This is what we want to be at the end of the school year. And you have an extra copy. Okay. So we were going to look at this. You're going to see some of this on here, but I gave you sort of the whole picture on here. But this is kind of the focus right here. We have our literacy goal. We have our numeracy goal. We have our WCI goal. Very similar because our data was great last year. Very similar for reading and math. We have some progress monitoring measures I just wanted to show you. These are things that all of our teachers do to measure the progress of our students. But if I were to like ask you all, like, you guys know what GOTeam and SAVIS and IXL and Hegarty all are? Like those are words that we don't all know. So that's why we have teachers in here. But if we need to lift any of these strategies and make sure that they're on our strategic plan, then we can do that. But for the most part, this is the place where you're going to see our very specific school-based goals in our continuous improvement plan. Take a second to look through it if you want to. We have literacy on the first page. The back page, we have numeracy. And then on the far back page, you'll see our WCI. Each one of those 3 buckets has action steps for subgroups as well. Subgroups are any group that is not our largest population. Our largest population are our white students. So anybody who's a subgroup of that would be African American, economically disadvantaged, Hispanic, multiracial, Asian. Those are all subgroups that we have in Morse Brandon. Okay. Feel free to just take a second.
And Hispanic.
Yes, great question. So the federal designations are Hispanic or Black and not Hispanic, right? ESOL language, it does not have a federal designation for ethnicity. So
Okay. Do we look at the data
right.
as separate subgroups?
We can look at all that separately. So if we're just looking at ethnicities or subgroups, that doesn't tell us anything about language. Right. We have a Hispanic population, but the district's the first group to tell you, don't think those kids speak Spanish. Like they'll tell you, that's not going to be their language. A lot of our Hispanic students' home language is English, you know? Yeah. So things like that. I want to update you guys too on something very cool that we're working on at the end of the year. It's our international. Very cool. I'll tell you about that at the end. We have like so many languages spoken at Brandon, and I was able to pull them all on the list. I'll talk about it next time, maybe it'll be a big topic. And we're reaching out to families that speak all these world languages that we didn't even know, assuming they have different ethnic backgrounds, right? And they're going to come and present to our kids.
Isn't Brandon the one with the most languages?
We're one of the most diverse schools. I don't know about the most languages, but I would assume that's probably the case. Yeah, I can run down there and get you the list of our languages. It's actually really cool. I highlight. Yeah, we're gonna edit that. And Moses made a good point. Like we don't use Eureka Math. Like, we'll take that out. But in SAVIS again, and Godot, we got to make sure that's red in there. All right. Yeah, Ashley loves Godot.
Yeah.
I know that because she was the principal, the superintendent. He asked the superintendent about it. Yeah, well, the textbooks are bad. The good thing about Brandon is we kind of always had them because we bought them, we have them, And then, so our kids are using them. I mean, if we need to use it more, let us know. We bought the online platform too. That was like $8,000 and they took it away. And then APS just gave it back to us. So I'm trying to get the money. I'm trying to ask them for it. So like they're pulling back on all the stuff that we just kind of stuck with. Because if you've been there long enough, you know that things change quickly. I'm just going to review the short-term action plans very quickly. Progress monitoring is a big one, making sure that we're continually checking in with our kids that they're making progress, right? Not just being surprised. A lot of our K3 teachers, or really K2, are giving this core phonics survey. These are surveys that we give to kids each portion of the year to see if they're learning and growing. Teacher professional learning is a huge one. I mean, God, I don't know if you know, but we have 3 IB days this week with nearly 18 staff out, paid for by our foundation. Next week, same more, 3 more. We have this big evaluation around about 3 months out. So when you hear the word IB, evaluation.
That January?
March.
March.
March. You got to have that stuff listed in here. Okay. Now's the time to start talking about IB. Yep. Let's keep going. Literacy continued. It's all in front of you, so you can see it. But I'm doing this so people online can read it. They can see it. Okay. Implementing and monitoring transdisciplinary model, and we're really trying to make that push to teach social studies and science embedded in the LA. So I think we're reading passages in science and social studies and comprehending, and that's something that we are making some progress with. This is one that we need to do a little better with right here. This is something that we talked about this week, is that when we get our new students, we need an intake survey. We need the assessment. We need to be able to give them like a core phonics survey or morphology survey right from the come. And I think we've been dropping the ball a little bit on that and just kind of leaning on that. So this CIP, that's all on admin. We meet we'll meet every week, or we meet every week, but we update this as we go. And by Christmas or Thanksgiving, even if we're not doing this, or we haven't done this, like I take it out. I don't want to tell my boss that we're doing something that's not in there. Numeracy, same thing. I'm just going to leave it up for 2 seconds so people online can see it. Godot, math internalization, professional learning, all things that we're doing with math and we've done with math. And that's kind of all I have for the numeracy. So let's take a look at our strategic plan. Any questions so far? This PowerPoint today is very minimal. Don't use that as a guide. It's like just a couple of things and then the exercise is going to be the work that we're going to do in a minute. Yeah.
Dr. Johnson, but Karen Muniz told me that the foundation purchased it. What's the sustainability for next year with that? Are they purchasing it again? You just mentioned APS paid for it, so what about it?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, education looks about a year out. You know, every year is so different. So the biggest shift right now is going to be ELA. I'm thinking math at this point, but we're leaving it. We're not going to pull status back again next year, right? Envision. Sorry, it has like status is like a company and Envision is the textbook. So maybe we just use one of those. Dr. Johnson had indicated the textbooks are all coming back out, the platform's back. So I don't think there's going to be a huge shift in math. I really don't. But you know, we know where APS is with the budget, right? So the good news is that we are lucky to have our foundation that if we need to support that, they're willing to. We have textbook line items for that. I mean, if we have to kind of go that route. But APS is not going to give us curriculums without the resources. They're not going to tell you go teach math. You got to go find something. You know, like that's why they gave us the status originally and try to pull it back here. So I think we're okay with that. I do have a crystal ball. I think with ELA, and I can update you guys second semester about where we are. We are appealing to the state right now, putting together our bundle to show that wit and wisdom can remain a thing. Yeah. And I feel good about that too. Kate and Ms. Lamb have been doing a great job because we have to show them that not just wit and wisdom, but we have to be able to show phonics, phonemic awareness. So like we do foundation, integrity, right? What are we using for writing? Say what we're doing with writing, and even though it's pretty rich in writing, like they want to see everything we're doing. Does that make a good 90 minutes? So we're making good progress with that. Yeah, thank you. All right, strategic plan. You guys all have it in front of you. Let's talk about it just real quickly. The layout on top. We have our mission and vision. That is good. That's been updated. Okay, and we have 3 goals. We have our goals on here had to do with with increasing subgroup performance, most notably African-American students in reading and math. We crushed that goal, by the way, right? I mean, they said from 40 to 43%. And I think they were up in the 50s. And then we know with math, they were at like 20%. So we crushed that goal. Let's look at school-wide increasing percentages like in our CIP, and then knowing that if we do that, every student will. Then we have it broken into 4 APS priorities. You have fostering excellence for all, building a culture of student support, equipping and empowering leaders and staff, and then creating a system of school support. All right, underneath those, you see just kind of little descriptors. So the first one, fostering academic, is kind of like your data. Like what are we using like our data, our curriculum, our instruction, anything academics are really in that first one. Signature program 2. So that's our IB line. There's 1 through 4 used to have like IB and push it over. Building a culture of student support, that's like our WCI goal, right? That's the one we need to change on there. We're reducing behavior referrals. What are we doing to support students' behaviors or students that maybe experience a trauma or students that come to us in the middle of the year, we don't know anything about that. That's that line. The next one is equipping and empowering staff. We're talking about how we're supporting our staff, how we're giving them money, what are we doing to build their capacity, okay? And the last one is school support, okay? That can really be anything. If you're looking at academics, it can be put in there additionally. If it needs to be WCI stuff or building a culture of support, that can also go in there. Really, that last bucket is for anything that you want to put in there. And if you look on the far right, every number has to have a strategy. Strategy has to align to it. I'm going to pick a random one, number 7, increase staff engagement and retention. I have 2 letters for that one. I have 7A, implement onboarding and mentoring of staff in new roles. Very important, something we still do today. And then 7B, increase staff recognition. Is that going to help increase staff engagement and retention? Good, I think so, right? So that just shows you how that kind of aligns with that number. If you're a teacher in here and you feel like that needs to be more or talk, then we have places to give them. Okay? That's why I have the teachers here. It's a good day.
For like the past year.
Retention was great the past year. 2 years ago, not great. Remember coming out of that pandemic, it was just kind of teachers were just tired. I don't have the rate, but I know from last year to this year, we're much better and we'll be better moving forward too. We're pretty solidly staffed now. But at the time when we wrote this, retention was tough. It was tough. Okay. All right. So ready for our next meeting? No, just kidding. Still good. All right, so let's do this. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to leave this on the screen. I have a note catcher here. I have my trusty Kim help hand this out on this side and notice on this side. Okay, we're going to start where it says number 1. This is a note catcher that I like because we'll all be able to use this. And what I'm going to do, if you're on the computer, I'll stop sharing so you can just kind of see the work that we'll do. Now, you have 3 documents in front of you. You have the continuous improvement plan, which is the complicated, a little bit harder to read, very specific admin type of document. And you have our strategic plan, which is a little past due, a little outdated, but very much high level and very much what is posted on our website. And a parent might say, a smart parent who wants to come to Brandon might say, let me take a peek at your strategic plan. How does your strategic plan relate to W.T. Jackson or Sarah Smith? What are their priorities? Spoiler alert, a lot of them look very similar, right? Just different kind of avenues to get there. Okay, so you have this document in front of you. We'll start on section number 1. It says, please use the organizer below to capture any notes. Sorry about that sound. That was not fun. But this is just for us. Hold on a second. Okay, take a look at the third. Please look at the third one because it's spelled correctly on that one. Okay, I don't know what happened on that. All right. Capture any notes you have regarding a Morris Brandon strategic plan. So this is the place you can put fostering academics, building culture. Those are the 4 buckets. You have your strategic priority feedback and your school strategy feedback. So that means that the first column, okay, you're just going to put like anything that you see that needs to be addressed in this column. And then where it says school strategy feedback, you're going to look at the strategies on this side and see if anything needs feedback. Does that make sense? So I'm going to do one just as an example. The first one, increase student mastery in math, science, and social studies. Okay, I may put number 1 That's a strong goal to have, because we need to continue to do that. Math, science, and social studies. Notice how ELA is not on there, right? Because ELA has a standalone. Okay,
Yeah.
which is fine. If we want to do a math standalone one, we could, by the way, you could just put your feedback in there. So then 1A says, utilize the Eureka math curriculum in K-5. We would probably have to make a note of that. And you would tell me we need to utilize Godot and Sabbath to help drive our learning, right? Number 2, ensuring students are reading on grade level and showing growth as it pertains to ELA. That is huge. So then for number 2, it says scaffold literacy and learning through guided reading, foundations, Orton Gillingham, Wit and Wisdom, ELA curriculum. I love it. But we've added a few more things in there. What else can we put in there for ELA? Haggerty, morphine magic.
My question would be around writing, because like, yes, we're doing it in what wisdom, but we need to in voice for it.
So then we need to add right score in there. And then one of the things that you could do for that strategy, if you ever needed, is you can look at this to see if there's strategies in here. One of the slides I showed had all of the progress monitoring tools on there. That could be helpful to cross and compare, but just think about if, and I'll pull it up. Just think about if there's something that you know of, or you can bounce ideas, but I do want you guys to have like 10 minutes alone, and then we'll partner with the shoulder partner. So as soon as we're done with that, you'll take about 10 or 15 minutes, just go down the row. So we've already taken notes, it's great. We'll flip it over. With the shoulder partner, you're just gonna compare your notes. Okay, it's gonna be about 10 more minutes. We're gonna say, this is what I got, looks good, I like it. Okay, and the last thing we're gonna do is we're going to make our way around the room, and we're going to write anything that really stands out to us on these pieces of paper. Each group of 2 is gonna start on just one piece, and you're gonna go through that category with what you have, and we'll rotate together. If you get to a piece of paper that has something that you like, or that you've already thought of, or that you want on there, you just put a star next to it. Okay, I will take all of this, including your sheets, most notably this, to recreate the first draft of this that I will share with you before our next meeting, where you will poke some holes in it, give it back to me, and then we'll vote on it before we leave for break. Okay?
Post-it notes for writing down ideas that are not.
Yes, and actually, you're writing down stuff that you're sort of already capturing on here. This is just a quick note capture for you. But that big picture stuff and the trends and things you see can go on there, so everybody can see. Okay? Everybody feel good about that?
Yeah.
All right. Take a few minutes, okay? And if you have questions, I'm here. I'm gonna pull up the progress monitoring slide one more time. Yeah.
They already like formulated, updated, because these should kind of pull up under those 2, right?
We're talking about the goals that are the top 3 on top. We need to use our continuous improvement plan goals
Into that.
into that. So then we would use our literacy goal, our numeracy goal, and our WCI goal. And that's something that I want to do. So we all have the same.
Got it.
Yep.
Right, because Bass is over.
Bass is gone.
It's gone.
Yes, it's gone. Bass Bess.
Yeah, behavioral monitor.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if they got license renewed on that.
I heard it was gone.
Yeah. Okay, these are the progress monitoring that we are using. So if you see a few things, it's a lot, I get it. But you can see from math, we have the Godot unit assessments, formative assessments. We're using happy numbers, IXL. So that's all on there. So if you feel like you need to lift some of that verbiage, you can. For ELA, you can see the word right scores on there, Wit and Wisdom, Mylexia, Haggerty, like she was talking about. Those are all strategies that we need to include in the CIP. Totally getting into the weeds more than GOTeam was asking us. They want me just to type it, right? But I like to read it and get something back out to you all. Take it up.
Tools I haven't heard of. Are those on my backpack or is that teacher specific?
Yeah, great question. One of the reasons why you haven't heard it is because many are very specific to K2 now.
Oh.
So I know your boys are a little older. But when our kids were in K1, 2, they were not doing Heggerty. Heggerty is phonemic awareness. So it's about hearing the sounds of letters and looking at the mouth make those sounds and having the teacher kind of follow a plan, you know. Like it's kind of like, I like it. So cat, say it with me, cat. The kids all say cat. They point out and they say, what letters do you hear? Cat. Now blend it and they tap it out on their fingers. Newer teachers can actually just play the video of the lady saying it. It's the same thing. Our teachers were pushing them to follow the guide and do it themselves. When they tap the letters out, they're actually tapping it backwards so the kids can see it forwards and stuff. Like we're trying to like show them how to do that. So those are things that we didn't do when our kids were there. Foundations is back in APS, but like at the beginning of the year, Foundations was gone. It was back. It was Flyleaf. It was the phonics, and that was another kind of confusing thing that came to us at the last minute. But now we're sort of back. We never really abandoned Foundations because it's always done great for us. But like we would have never heard the word Flyleaf before that. But our kids at K2 know that. Yes.
So we're using foundation still,
Mhm.
but not the flywheel.
Flyleaf is used for us more in very small groups. Foundation's going to be the whole group target.
And do we pay for or APS does?
APS did.
Do you know what the curriculums are for EL or like looking at?
Why
besides
don't
what
we,
was
for the next meeting, tell me to bring that better list than I can. I have to find it. It's like, yes, there's like 5 or 6 that are on the state list. We're trying to get with.
Oh, yeah.
It's like your ones that they, you
So
know,
which
it's like your
isn't not
Amplify,
even on the list.
no, Amplify and NWEA, like it's like some of the big corporations and their literacy programs, you know. Yeah, and I'll talk about that maybe at the next meeting, what those.
I mean, that will be great to bring up to,
I had a note at the beginning of the year that we sort of tackle the ELA thing together, because I was gonna maybe think that we do an operational flexibility, like a letter from our GOTeam. But
Yeah.
I am feeling confident with our new leader and
Yeah.
when we visited our school and like with how they're working with us, that we should be okay.
Do other.
Only one other school had wisdom and they're working with us.
That.
Beecher Hills.
Okay.
The bees. Beecher Hills, is the only other school that uses it.
It's a really. Good.
Everybody loves it, except for 3rd grade. It does not add a line for social studies. Anybody have 3rd graders here? We all have them, yeah. So, you know, they do Under the Sea, Jacques Cousteau, Outer Space, the kids love it, they write, but then the teachers are like struggling, they're like, can I get something about it, you know, like explorers on this earth? So we're telling them like, you know, if explorers is the theme, maybe we need to adjust the way we roll it out and talk about explore, you know, we explore stuff. So take a couple more minutes. Okay, thank you.
No, you're gonna, we'll see it together. Back to your, like.
And if you know, Ms. Moses is an expert. So if we had her, like, today is a good example of yesterday. She pulls out on once a month and observes our EIP team. Those are the teachers on the grade level that have to that have some of the intervention students in there, or that have to give them some of that intervention. Not as much up here, but 2nd grade. Up here we do pull out. So we have our Dickerson and our Cutshaw. But at K2, like 2nd grade, they actually do their interventions in the classroom. They have EIP, it's called like in the classroom. And one thing we weren't doing was like observing that teacher doing something different. It has to be something different. And the same thing that you do for everybody. So Moses now gets pulled out once a month, uses her instructional expertise to push in and provide feedback, which is pretty cool.
And then only 2nd grade is doing wind time, is that right?
Right now, yes. And win time is for their innovative model. That's for that EIP. So they shift around and they go to those groups that work for them, that are on their level. So we can get 1 or 2 teachers that can only have like 8 kids at that time, and that counts as that EIP.
And why is? That?
Because we can do pull out up here. So we pull our EIP kids out and the day just keeps rolling. But there they have to stop and we have to find a time in the day to do it. Just because we don't have the schedule lined up with the staffing and intervention block, because you have to have a 40-minute, 40 per second?
40 per second, so for them, they can go up to 50 minutes.
Yeah,
So we
for
need
reading
to
and
stop for reading, and some of our kids go for both, so that's 100 minutes back. So just technically pull out is like
The way to do it, yeah.
because teachers can
the
keep.
state is moving back to pull out.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about challenges we've had this year, losing 30 minutes of the school day. And then now having to do pull out for reading and math. So we could do win last year, the last couple of years, when you had additional 30 minutes and we just say, hey, everybody in the building is 30 minutes. That's what it was. Now we're having trouble just getting the standards of service into the hours of the day. So we have kids that are getting pulled out in fourth and fifth that need intervention for math and reading for 120 minutes a day. They're not even with their teacher. You have to make sure that that intervention teacher, Dickerson and Cutshaw, are like boom, 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 which they are because most going in there and watching, and we all are. But just kind of gives you the idea of how the flow of the day is.
What's their caseload like? I mean, I can imagine with two teachers, it's heavy. Yeah.
It is heavy, but honestly, they only have a
7.
max of 7 each group.
Okay.
So,
I only have 7.
Okay.
yeah, and I think Cutshall has 4 segments, so like 28 kids. Dickerson has 3, and then she has the SOL for her. So,
And to give you an idea, these are all great questions because we're learning. So EIP, these are the kids that are not special education, right? They're not like, they don't have exceptionalities or all that. And they're not tier 1. They need a little more support. So they're typically their percentile is what? Goes below the 29%. So you have kids that are in the 30th percentile. The parents want these intervention services at 30th. I mean, 31st percentile still struggling a little bit, but they remain in the classroom with the teacher. Most of the kids that are in the EIP are, if they've been with a brain like the whole time, like they're really like upwards of the mid-20s, upper 20s percentile. If you're brand new to Brandon and you're right in the EIP, it's like you're just in the first percentile. It's just kind of how the schooling has been the whole time. We don't have a ton of kids that started Brandon, go to 4 years later, are in the first percentile and not in like special ed. Like we've already screened them, we've already got them services, they have case managers, we get everything in there. It's the kids that come to us, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, they don't have the plans that are low that we have to really do the backtrack.
So
So as you think about that,
we're implementing this student intake, like with every single student, help negate some of that. We're
I think what-
catch it earlier.
I think what it would do is give us data a lot earlier and help us move a little quicker. I don't think it's gonna help us like in the long run of like getting kids in and out of intervention. It's just gonna show us right off the bat. With this child, boom, right in there, we got it. We know what class they need to be put into, we know this, that kind of.
like skills to work on.
Yeah,
Like
the
that
individual
block
skills.
is So helpful. And we do it at the beginning of the year, phases 3, but if you come in March.
That's correspondence?
Yeah. No, I know you have some, like, or even if not grade level, but these are the things that are hard. So it would just be.
Do you guys feel comfortable or ready to talk to a shoulder partner? You need a few more minutes? Take a few more minutes.
Smells like sushi.
Building a culture of student support is a good one. Because I do want it to extend beyond like highbrow, right?
Yeah.
Which, highbrow is a kind of run their course at Brandon. Kids still absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like I think the teachers are like, oh, we're doing 9. Like the kids act like it's their first one every time. But yes. But like things kind of beyond that, there's stuff that we want to think about and do. Not everything has to have money to go towards it, but it's on there and it's a priority. One thing I like to talk about, I'm just gonna say it, every year we have that kind of like the security conversation. It's gone down a little bit, right? Because we earned SROs, which is great. Hiring them, Liz White Liz has been updating me because she goes to the security meetings. And she's able me kind of like.
I saw an email out today
Yeah,
from APS of hiring specifically for
SROs, like they're looking for.
elementary school.
Yeah, it's great. But you can see the struggle of finding them.
Oh.
But in the past, I would tell my GOTeam, I would say, if we need to prioritize an SRO, which we don't right now because we're in a good place, so I feel like I can use it as an example. If we need to prioritize it, it needs to be great.
Yeah.
So then we don't come back around in February and start, we need to officer, it's not on our strategic plan, we didn't prioritize it. Now, I'm always open to, other funding sources and feedback, but that's a good example.
You just get top right.
Oh, sorry. On these like side rallies and like student, what was it called?
Student engagement.
Engagement, or is it? I wonder if there's an opportunity not just to highlight the kids who are like achieving, but also improving,
Right.
right?
We've done growth celebrations last year. We
Okay.
do those for kids that just show growth on the map. Is it?
We have a,
I mean,
in each high
A
rally, there
behavior.
is a segment, like we do the ideal words, and then there's
Yeah.
one. And I can't tell you right off the top of my head what it's called, but it's like a separate one that's like a kid that's showing what's
that's
on that
awesome.
side. So like, but I think we need to talk about it potentially so that kids know that's what that is for. I think it's the go-getter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they get it and they're like, "Oh," but like, I don't know that we're like saying as a school using that language.
Right.
Right.
Hey, like, this is a person that's really shown growth or made it, like, we say it in the high rally, but they're so amped up. I don't know that they're being like, oh, that's an important outlet. So that's something.
I would say like behavior, but then maybe you don't want to call out things.
That's a great call, and we do need to recognize good behavior, but also students that show improvement behavior, we can do that. Maybe not like a high, but
Yeah.
even in the classroom and things like that. There's ways of doing that. But all that can fall under there. One thing I forgot to tell you is we probably want to keep the strategies or the priorities, sorry, like around 10 or 11.
Yeah.
You know, that's typically what it always is. I haven't seen, we have a little space more at the bottom, but you can see how the strategies are the ones that we need a whole lot more space with. So the priorities, maybe want to keep it like around 10 or 11, and then we'll go there.
I mean, I think our priorities,
Priorities are pretty good.
Are
Maybe some
pretty good.
strategies we need to.
I think some of the strategies.
One thing is, remember the data we didn't talk a ton about. CCRPI is almost fully out. Great data, just got our progress back. And progress is the percentage of students that show growth, right? Over reading and math.
Can you share that?
We got 100 on progress. Okay, 100 points. Yeah, all of the points you could possibly get. That's ESOL growth. So students making growth on their access bands, meaning you get a half a point if I move from like in between one band, like a 1 to a 1.4. I get 1 point if I move to over a band. So if I go from a 1 to a 2, and then I get 1.5 points if I move over a band. And we had like 70% of our kids move over a band because our ESOL kids just do great. Just the language, the learners, you know. So we got a ton of, so ESOL got all the points, and then math and reading went up just a ton. The one red flag, and that's funny, I'm saying red flag, literally a red flag, I'm just saying, yeah, is science. It's great. It's great.
I feel like science is like across the
It's a hard
board.
one.
APS.
And they're
No,
in
across
curriculum,
APS.
right?
What?
Curriculum.
It's not a curriculum, really.
I do have a question. Are all of our ESOL kids in CLI?
Great question. Members, many of our ESOL kids are not Spanish speakers.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So.
We definitely try and get them in
Okay.
there. We definitely try. We leave spots open,
Right.
but no, they're not, because a lot of
It's default.
we get kids that come, you know, that are outside of DLI, and I try and get them in. And here's the funny thing, and I've done this 2 or 3 times. We have a student that comes in who's a native Spanish speaker,
Right.
and we put him into DLI in 3rd and 4th grade, and they don't understand the English side of the Spanish. And they have to we have to give them a Spanish proficiency assessment, and they literally don't pass the Spanish. They just never been taught Spanish or English. So if they come in K and 1, like we get them in, but if you have our upper grades kids, it's a little more difficult. I try, but they don't always swim.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see that just because the numbers drop so much in 3rd and 5th grade for DLI.
You have people leaving, right?
Correct.
So I will tell you in 4th and 5th grade,
People.
people leave.
They move.
We've had a lot of people move. Patrick's classes, 4th grade is pretty big.
4th grade's huge. The 5th grade class, though, it's like we have 6 teachers. I probably could make that grade level with just 5. The issue with DLI's got 14 and 15, and everybody else has 23, 24. And then every new kid that comes in 5th grade, where we get a lot, there's that year where they move from somewhere else and come here so they can graduate and get away, or come here and get a great 5th grade, all go into general. Nobody can go into DLI. That's a downfall. I get it. The idea is to keep our DLI kids all the way through North Atlanta, right? Sign that contract, have them go. Listen, parents are going to do what they want to do. We're not going to be able to get ahead of that problem. The idea is that we want our, I learned as a principal my first year from other principals, like don't beat your head if parents don't want to go to your school.
But I always say, as far as DLI on the flip side, I don't think that people realize, like in kindergarten,
They got
Those
50.
classes are jam packed. Like Eli's kindergarten class had
40, yeah, 27.
Yeah, he was when we had the kids come from the other countries and we started. So we had 27, whereas most of the other kindergarten.
And that makes the other K classes 18. So it is a give and take. It's a give and take.
Hopefully, right, we've gone through. The goal is not even just DLI. The goal is because other kids outside of DLI leave in fourth grade, going into fifth grade to private schools here in Atlanta, right? The goal is to make fifth grade an amazing year at Brandon, which it is, right? So I think we just need to continue to push that for parents to be like, yeah, we get it. Like sixth grade, you might
Yeah.
decide to go somewhere else, but look at all the amazing things.
Shout out to our PTO presidents. I don't know if they're on here. I saw Dana. They're literally
Great job.
They're literally trying to do that, and Dana and Ashley put together like a one pager, like this is what you get in fifth grade, which is very cool.
Yeah, no, that's what,
We're even doing the Thanksgiving thing next week, you know,
yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I think we're doing it. It's gotten much better as the years have, like, fifth grade got drained for COVID.
Yeah.
But we're building it back up and the fifth grade teachers are amazing.
Right.
And so.
All right, so we're gonna do this. I have a chat in here, which is good. It's on Ed Reports. Maybe Kelly, at the end of the meeting, when we do public comment, if you want to come off and talk about it for a second, you're welcome to. But let's move on so we can capture your ideas and your notes, and then we'll review. So the next thing I have, we're gonna break into 3 groups. We're gonna do Ashley over. You guys can work together, and Moses is the resource, right? Y'all two can be together, y'all two can be together, and I'll just kind of work with both of you. All I want you to do for the second piece is, are there any notes that are similar between you and your partner? We're gonna kind of go back and forth, like, hey, what worked? What do you like? Let's write it on here. Because the idea is that you're gonna kind of take this and we're gonna put it on the paper. What do you feel should be kept in there? I know there's a very blanket, open-ended question, but I'd like to read them. Anything can be removed that you guys all agreed on, like if you said the Sabbath can be, or envision, you said envision, write envision on there, for example. And the last thing is there anything new? Anything I'm not thinking, you just want to write on there, like anything that we want to like look at, and maybe just kind of vet. And then we'll do number 3 in about 8 minutes. Okay, so we'll that poster go around and we'll go there. All right. Yes, one here to watch it.
Right.
Watch it. But let me tell you something. Art, music, meeting, discussion. The priority.
Art, the overall main thing, but one thing I did that thought about were like building like a culture for, especially because I know like, but if it's a good thing, I think that like Boston. Practice, especially is that kind of have trouble. One, we have friends that go to E-Rivers and they have things that kids like as a reward, they get like a little ticket. And the ticket, they get used to like you can say after with a teacher, this kind of art. It can be an art party, but you know, it's just kind of.
So
They have
then
like 5 years. So like.
also what you're into.
Yeah.
We have mentors.
We were like our.
Yeah.
5 years.
But with the like, that's, yeah. Yes.
Right.
That one.
Sorry. This is our year.
I know that the
But I mean,
population.
I just feel like on this one, I had that also students did that side and social care. Then on the school strategies, I wrote within like, all this stuff about like the dough and blah, blah, but like science and social studies. And I would say especially science. I feel like with APS is weekend. Well, I would say if I had a range.
It was actually.
I would put my kids go to math, and then I would put science, and I would.
I just thought a lot of parents found that, and they do, but not that other things about.
But it's like, you want my kids.
One of my buddies work. Work like a lot of times, like, do they have this? So, Yeah, like maybe we look at different options for having a job where they're getting quite funny. They're getting like they're on the right? That's like if you're harder state your job, more than likely you're off for like it's like and I'm still like okay. So like
Yeah.
I have parents look right. Yeah. Something that I have. That's a good one. Definitely. I think there'll be like building a support, like summer student support.
Yeah, I don't know that.
That's not what you think about stuff. We talked a lot about House Bill 538, dyslexia, literacy, right? Every student that is flagged on dyslexia, we sent letters to them, and I get it if they haven't already, but every student had to take the dyslexia screener in kindergarten, really K3. And if they were flagged, we have to create a dyslexia plan for them by the 20th. We have to give their parents what that plan is. Now, if they're already under a 504, if they're in intervention or special ed, those are technically their. When we cross-check it and we still have about 7 or 8 kids that are not in any of that were flagged for dyslexia. Dyslexia is a huge word we're hearing now. Science of reading is a huge word. I would love to see some of that in it. That's a good policy. 504 is come and go. So it's hard to get the number because like a kid can get a 504 for a broken arm and then he wants to arm. So if we, I'm gonna be right back. I gotta get a sip of water.
I know.
I have little water bottles if you want.
You have more water bottles?
I know some,
I mean,
Yeah.
feel free to.
like, some data, like I'm able to insight, and I think some of the gap, I didn't feel like we just like. If we're basically out of weekends, build them up, so right now, the like, are forming past the low.
Are you talking about counselor?
Yeah. So I think.
So one thing to think of,
Question is, like, I guess,
I would love for it. Yes.
like, I don't want us to add like.
no, we have to pay for our counselor.
But I'm wondering, I know.
You have to pay for it. Very much like, this is what.
And then-
So ABS, you can get around a lot with our charters.
Like. I don't know if it's so.
Well, they are. It's fun for us to-
Right.
My thing is, what flexibility is there for it? Like, what creative ways what creative ways are, what ideas do they have? Like, do you have like that, right? Like, how much money did the 30 minutes cost? How much money did the 30 minutes cost?
I think every teacher, got their hourly rate, so it was about 1,500, 1,700. You know, the district has like, down 4 teachers. It's pretty good.
Right.
Is this?
Yes, we get allotted for special ed allotment.
Like,
Good question over here. I just want to clarify. He asked about, do we hire our special ed teachers? So we get allotted special ed from a different revenue bucket. So they say because of your 10% and the way you write your IEPs and the service your kids need, you earn this many special ed. Now, something to think about. We earned 5 special ed teachers, not including our 2 autism teachers that we earned 2, because we get the whole classroom. We earned 5 interrelated teachers. I bought a 6th one, if you remember correctly. I bought a 6th one because I didn't feel like we could serve our students in DLI because we don't get additional funding for DLI. Remember that. But we still have kids with special ed in there that have to get teachers that push in. But I have other co-top classes on that grade level that special ed kids are supposed to go into. Right? So instead of saying like, you can't be in DLI anymore, come on out, you're special ed. Like we have to figure out a way to get them in there. So that's $120,000 investment. So we have one special ed teacher that could be a counselor, that could be, anything, right? There's something to think about in regard to the funding. And then one thing I'll always remind everybody, because we all know names of people, and it's going to start coming around when we talk about positions. We always talk about positions.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say, it's one of those when the funding comes around, it's always about position.
I just.
Yeah, I really think that grandparents.
Yeah, it could be something around the middle school, like.
In fourth grade.
Yeah, like maybe there's like a grade. Some of us need sort of first grade. Yeah.
Oh, right, that's when first. Yeah, it's really, where they need it. Oh, there's.
All right, maybe about 2 more minutes.
If there was like one.
Okay.
Exactly.
Actually, planning for IDO or something done, right?
I'm gonna elaborate on one thing. She had a question of action plan about IBO. We could probably take that out. So IBO is, IB organization. When they came 5 years ago, they told us that we had matters to be addressed. Those matters to be addressed had to do with gifted, cooperation. It had to do with training our teachers. It had to do with, having a data management system. They wouldn't just let us use Google and keep all of our IB units on there. We had to get it taught, right? So like, we don't have to necessarily keep that in there because we've answered those IB ones.
Okay.
But we're about to get visited again in March. We're going to do that again, but let's not anticipate that we're going to have a bunch of matters. It will be okay. So then what we do is take that out, maybe have our IB, and then next year when we look at this again, then we add in what we've done. And everything's been addressed. So you could reframe that as just something else for all of you.
Is it just Kendall or different fires that get put? Okay,
Just as Kendall is the lead teacher,
okay,
and then we have about 30 other.
right, because they're all, yeah,
Gifted, they're great one, we'll put some back on there.
okay.
We're doing a lot of work right now with gifted in collaboration, and actually some of their. Need to put that on the agenda for next time. Ashley, next time we meet too, I want to give a quick update on gifted.
I'll put that in here.
Yeah. So we can talk about the gifted and we'll get it done. And then the way you leave on curriculum, those will be.
Yeah, I think we owe. A follow-up on it.
We'll do that. I want to talk a little bit about how we're working on the collaboration model and what the teachers are doing now. Okay. All right, it's 4 o'clock. We started about an hour ago. Our meetings are usually an hour, but we will keep rolling. And like my idea is not to keep you here forever. I actually have a cluster advisory team meeting after this. I can be home. And then I gotta go to the next meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
You guys all going to?
I'm moving in. Yeah, soccer got canceled, so.
Right. But now's the time to like just share out kind of what you have. I do want you to write it on here, and we're looking just for themes. So here's basically what I'm saying. Your group, so we're gonna start with Kim and Ashley, are gonna start over here with building a culture of student support. You're just gonna give me the feedback you had from there. It can be add this, take this out, let's try to include this. I know it's very big picture, okay, but just tell me your thoughts on what is on there for building a culture of student support. Like we had talked about, Hina talked a little bit about student mentoring. I love that. Maybe a little bit of different student recognitions. And then if you come around to that when we rotate, and that's something that you either like or thought of, just put a star next to it so you don't have to necessarily write it again. So we'll do y'all there. We'll do Ina and Zan at fostering academic excellence. And we'll do our last 3 over here for equipping and empowering leaders and staff. We're going to take like 3 minutes on each, and then I'm going to tell you to rotate. Everybody sound good? Yep. All right, go ahead and move where you need to go. We have one more over here, so we are going to have to hit up creating a system of school support too. So go to your one, and then we'll rotate in about 3 minutes.
You want to start here?
There's markers here. You guys need markers?
Oh, sorry, I didn't even think about that. We're gonna, I didn't put anything about the goals, but I'm gonna change the goals to the CIP goals. All right, and then, take out envision. She put that on there, so I don't forget. Take out, not envision, Eureka. I'm gonna stop sharing and I'll walk around and kind of show people what we're doing. I think a culture of student support. I like that. Schedule creation. Based assessments. Okay. I like that.
Leadership development.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, this is just silly, but I feel like more recognition on teacher of the year and like specialist of the year. Like I know it's posted. Yeah, like I know it's posted, but you know, like introducing them at a PTO meeting or like
I think it's really good strategy of
Strategy.
that recognition.
Yeah.
You didn't like where I put it, Moses? Okay, about 1 more minute, we're gonna rotate. Get it all down. I'm also gonna collect your note catching sheets too, so don't.
Okay.
No, we don't do but on high rallies, how great would it be to recognize?
And then nominated by the principal.
Yeah.
And they get the cupcake, the picture.
Yeah, I was saying, I think we did the capital trophy award, I didn't know how you go. I'm gonna bring it back. How many trophies coming back? If you guys are good, come on over here. You guys can rotate over, yeah? You can start rotating. And then stop, just stop.
All the assessments go. You're done.
Yeah, you could tell I was young when I typed that up last time.
Yes.
You guys are welcome to rotate when you're ready. Just kind of move around to the one you haven't been to.
Starting at.
Casting trophy is when we would have to recognize each other, but we will not be. And on Friday, we were going to try with the Valley Trophy. That's what to do. And it's me.
Oh, yeah.
Using the planner.
Yeah, it's like, how to figure out what to do, and because right now it's just like, the teacher puts it in the newsletter. Oh, the date is blah, 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 but there's no onus on the student to be like, I got a state Yeah. Thursday. I mean, some kids do, but like, you know, giving them that.
What about the, like the poppy seed? You know?
So I like to see the record. Yeah.
Right, they had they were both my house.
Right.
I'm just thinking about. Yes. That starts at. It does.
They start second semester, second day, that's right last year.
But,
I started, I had like Sally's entire years.
Do we pay for it?
We did it like on our own. And we used to just do 3-5, but now I think first and second grade does it too. And they're doing like, they score, you skip it off and they score their little like 1 sentence. Funny.
Yeah.
The ones that not.
One thing teachers will do, you know, always blame those teachers who grade level below. Okay. Okay. Let's take about fourth grade teachers say about third grade teachers. Fifth grade teachers say about fourth. Yeah, always. 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 We love to do that.
So I know that the kids, when they come from here, they do like a shadow or like a week or something. Like, I feel like they need more interaction.
Write it on there. Write it on
You
there.
know,
Nothing's off the, that would be a transitional program. We set this apart. It'd be good. All right, when you're ready, just rotate to the one you haven't been to yet and put stars next to the things that the strategies that you feel like need to be included.
placards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what do we have for this one? Student support. Do we want to put the behavior thing?
Yes.
You know, behavior work?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
something-
Thanks.
Um. I love this.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to, but I was talking to.
All right. Couple more minutes, guys. Show what we've got. I love it. Building a culture of student support.
Yeah.
Creating a system of school support.
Oh, yeah, we stop.
School support, student support, empowering leaders and staff. Oh, it's showing up backwards. I get that now when I show it on here. So people aren't really going to be able to read them. And then fostering academic excellence for all. We're going to go about 2 more minutes. Get your thoughts on these papers. Come back, sit down, or review them, collect them, and we're going to be done. Let me plug back into the Zoom so I can finish the PowerPoint.
And then I don't know, like, if we're able to bring in an outside group, like they go to the leader, you know, how about this works. Yeah. Yeah.
For lots of people that. So. That's super clear.
That is creating a, if you look at your strategic plan, you can kind of see what's on there on that one.
Emma.
Morning. So I first sent out my promotion.
All right.
So this is all about IDs, right?
Yeah, there was something about like retarded, like maybe like police or.
Creating a system of school support can be really anything, strategic staff support, equitable resource. Yeah, that last one can really mean anything. Fostering academic excellence for all is very much IB and instruction. Building a culture of student support is very much whole child intervention. Equipping and empowering staff is all about equitable resource allocation and staff support. About 1 more minute, guys.
One day of your husband.
Yeah.
We're a better networking.
Okay. I like that. We can think more about it.
Yeah, maybe sort of like community networking or connections.
I guess I got to get really too soon. But I'm gonna log in for a while.
Thank you. Good to see you.
How many of the teachers are getting those vegetables?
You know what, I have a percentage. It's a lot. It's over 50%.
More that are in trip, like,
And then we have a whole other group that's going through it and they actually can take gifted kids if they're in the program. So it's a good amount. I would say close to 70. I'm gonna get to you later.
But like.
70% of our staff have advanced degrees.
Oh, wow.
Wait till you guys see our hype videos. Oh, come on, I should show you. I should give you a preview. I'll give you a preview.
Like just an idea, because we're putting, I feel like we all put so much on our teachers. Is like,
Thank you.
if we, I don't know what we would call it, but like say literacy, right? Our overarching goal is increased by 5%. But at the beginning of the year, mid-year, we have like this huge promotion with all the parents and we say, guess what, guys? This year, literacy. That means you guys and the kids have to do your part outside of the hours of 8 and 2.
I like it.
Right? Like, I think every time I'm like,
Yep.
I don't want to add something to your, I mean, you guys are,
I mean, literacy is such a focus that Miss Jordan, as the art teacher, has to take 8 modules online around Cox campus to learn about science of reading. That's how much of a push APS has done. We've all done it. Everybody came by. So I agree with you on that. And I will tell you what served our school well is very much taking the same district focus and making it a school focus. Literacy, special education.
right, but I think like if you emphasize to the parents, this is our year of literacy.
What can you do to help?
We need to get our goal.
Yeah.
Our teachers can only do so much and they are doing an extraordinary job. Our kids are doing a great job at school, so we need them to follow up at home with your help. Here are the, and the teachers do it already, but like as a school-wide community.
Yeah.
Here are your 5 things. We can break it up into K to 2 and 3 to 5 and this, like the Alexia or accelerated reader or whatever you.
Like
But, like-
Mariana City does a good job at that, like their bus driver and like hands out,
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do there.
and this was in APS, but, I forget exactly what the program is, but like the parents would come in, it would be like a literacy.
Literacy nights.
But they would come in and it would be, instead of like, open house, we did like, here's your kids, here's our goal. So like second grade, their goal for the whole second grade was like, we're working on cipher. Here's like 3 activities and they would actually show the parents like, here's the activities, here's how you do them with your kid, here this matter. And they would give them like the resources. They would give them the flashcards and the pieces and the highlighter and all of that. So that was their thing. That it was like, this is on you, because I think sometimes parents are just like, okay, literacy is the goal, but like, what does that mean? Other than read 20 minutes or get on Lexia, and some kids don't have the computers at home. So it's like, that was something too, that it was like, it was, kids could come, it was like a literacy carnival. We had kids to watch, people to watch the kids, and then it was like, you come, and this is kind of your chance to like come alongside the teacher, whether it's literacy.
Is that Harper Archer?
Like that.
Yeah, and I can find out the name, because it was like a program that you got a picture of like this class's data, where your kid was, and
Yeah.
it was like, didn't have names or any of that, but just to say
Yeah.
like, and this is how we move them. And so each grade level had a goal. One was like letters, sounds, or, whatever. And then like in the spring, they would do a new goal. And so I feel like that would be something similar, where it's like this, I think if you're gonna say, get parents on board, you gotta give them something like specific. Yeah, because otherwise.
I do think that like, we know that the budget is gonna be tough in the next couple of years. So like, additional resources are not gonna come our way. And at Brandon, I hope the teachers feel that the parents are supportive. I feel like we could lean into the parents more and it would be free.
And community resources like Junior League. I mean, their whole focus is women and children, and literacy is their main thing. And I'm a part of the league, so we can bring them in somehow, somehow.
So you're all saying great things. What I'm hearing are not necessarily a priority, but more of a strategy,
Yeah.
right? To get our reading. Right. I think that's good. One thing I will note to you is thinking about our percentage of proficiency. We're trying to get to 80%. That's a huge jump. If we are at 75% right now, that means 25% of our kids are really not on grade level for reading. Who are those kids? We have to know who they are. Many of them are SWD students. students that are twice exceptional, meaning that they might be, or special ed or something else, or what's their ethnicity? Is it our African American students? We know it's many of them based on their proficiency and also tied to economically disadvantaged students. So now we're drilling it down to a school that might be a little different, where we're talking the whole body of school needs this. To a school like Brandon, where about 20% could use it, while the other 80% maybe need to talk more about acceleration and how you move your kids even further beyond that. It's just it's a great thing to do, but we could probably even drill it down and target a little more. What I want to do is go through these four buckets, read them out loud, make sure we're good. We don't have to vote on anything, so I'm just going to talk about the next step, and then I'll hand it over to you, and we'll close it out. And I just want to remind you that what I'll do is type these notes up, share them with you all before the next meeting, get a first draft to you before the meeting. So when we come to the meeting, the idea would be to finally vote on it. If we don't vote it on in our December meeting, it's fine. We just carry it over to January, but we have to have this finalized before we get to the budget. Okay. All right. Fostering academic success for all. I'm going to borrow you. This one had to do really with data, curriculum, instruction. We talked about continuing to develop standard-based assessments to help underperforming subgroups. Your assessments have to be aligned to a standard. Nobody's going to move, right? That's important. Take out your read and math. Yes. Study skills, executive functioning in 3-5 for ramping up middle school. I love that. Love that. That could be a great strategy. Writing, we need to add right score in and a goal. I like that. More interaction, transitional programs, second to third. That was the how do we get our kids ready for third grade come second? Because in our building, it's definitely more prevalent than in one campus. Nobody has that conversation at E Rivers.
Right.
They just move one hall up.
Yeah.
Here, it's a whole thing. Science curriculum. Yes, you'll see the data comes out. Hegarty, we got to add that in. That's phonemic awareness, and then retention of special ed teachers. That's huge. I did a whole con project on it. So yes, we retained our teachers for that. And we need to keep them because they're the best special ed staff right now. Like we got to keep them. Building a culture of support, asking teachers for feedback on creative improvements for the schedule. I like that, involving them in the schedule creation, making sure the schedule is aligned for equity. That's a big thing. Everybody will tell you that schedule is the first thing to call out equity, right? Everybody getting the time that they need with support teachers, with programs, with interventions, with extensions, all of that, okay? Buddy system, I love this. This has to do with the mentoring piece, right? Okay, good. New students, new families, especially if it's mid-year. How do we onboard students that come to us if it's their first year in 5th grade and they've never been to Brandon, they step foot in our building, or they come to us in March? Like that happens all the time. Student recognitions, achievements, growth, good behavior, dojo, just keep doing that and building it out, it looks like. And then additional to dojo is Hive announcement. What was that? Who put that on there?
We were saying like at Hive rallies, that good behavior, like in addition to dojo, and then announcements, maybe something being on the announcements about that kid of the week.
Student teacher admin mentorship opportunities, career days, big brothers, big sisters, great, all stuff I consider. I've reached out to big brothers and big sisters before too for some of our kids. Additional opportunities for music, for student art and music. I love that. Who wrote that on here?
Oh, email.
I love it. Art and music is important. We have basically one PE, one art, and one music. We have 8 homerooms at the PC, so we divide it into 2. You know, you have 3 go in the first, 3 go in the second. Where do the other 2 go? Yeah, you got to split them. You got to split those up in 2 classes. Another special would be powerful for us. It would really, really help. But if we can't do that because of the budget, we have other options of getting another special in there in the forms of foreign language, right? It's interesting. I didn't see a ton of foreign language on any of this. I wasn't prompting anybody on that, but something to think about in regards to our foreign language program and how that's run. Okay, feedback can always be shared and anything.
Is foreign language part of our IB? Like, is that a requirement under IB?
It's a requirement that you offer. You do have standards of service where the proficiency model, and then it says suggested for students in 2nd through 5th grade is 90 minutes a week. And we're at, 30, 60, maybe 60 minutes a week, 60 to 75. PC, they have to put French in the special schedules because they have so many kids, they have to have places for them to go to. So French and language lab is actually in the special rotation. Yes, don't be special. She pulls K2 on 2 things. We pulled Gillum out. Remember last year, GOTeam said she's teaching too much, so she only teaches 1 day a week now. Okay. She has 4 days to split, huh?
Now we miss her.
And now everybody misses her. All right, creating system of school support. Ashley, I'm gonna close the meeting out for you if you're gonna leave.
Well, Tina's gonna, or,
Okay,
sorry,
all right,
Tiffany's
awesome.
gonna close it out.
Parent surveys. Love it. We give a parent survey. It's out right now, y'all. Take it. So with this one, maybe it's taking the data from the parent survey and making it more actionable. Writing professional learning, I love it. Community connections, networking, vertical plans. That means that K is working with one. One is working with K and two. Two is working with three, right? We talked about like everybody blaming second grade about their writing. Well, let's get them in the second. I'm just
I'm
kidding.
gonna be blaming, I was like saying, Rex was looking for more than a snitch, Sharon.
I know, just kidding. I want to tell you what vertical planning was, because teachers value that. Equipping and empowering leaders and staff, structured leadership development. We've tried this in the past at a school. I find the value of this more on the district. And I do think the district has really good leadership development. And it's my goal to try and get our teachers into some of the district programs, if possible. That's always been my focus, but I'm learning how to coach. There's a difference between coaching and mentoring, and like taking that course right now. And if we could get some type of leadership development at the school level to where we're not mentoring teachers, but we're actually coaching them on how to get there, I love it. That's what we do. Larger recognition of teacher of the year, support professional of the year. We can do better with that. Teacher recognitions and highbrow. We don't do that. I love that. Bring back traveling trophy. Continue to listen to needs and ideas of teachers and staff. Maybe a mid-year check-in. Great. We do a Gallup survey. They have a lot of chances to give you feedback. Honestly, trust me. We do Gallup, and then we do the talent pulse. Those both come out either once or twice a year, and teachers can do that. Maybe we make it more specific to Brandon or do something separate. I like it, but just letting you know. Buddy system for new teachers. A new establishment. Tell me.
Because I don't know if there's already something existing that I started mid-year. And there was a few times Miss Cruz started pumping in and was like, you know, have staff meeting, and I was like, no, I don't. So, you know, like.
You're a good example because you did start in what month?
January.
Yeah, because last.
But 3 years.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, we had a hire teacher in the middle of,
Yeah,
last year was like off of September.
yeah.
So for Garrison, we speak Spanish, and now she can offer DLI Spanish art. All right, so here's what we're gonna do from here, just so you all know, the next time we come, we're gonna vote on this. I'll have some drafts in there for you. Before you leave, I'm gonna let, Tiffany close it out, and then I need to collect, the notes that you took on this. This is the one I want. I really want you guys to keep the other handout because we might use them again on a virtual meeting, so I'll have to make copies, but this is what I will collect. I'll put it here. So close it out, Tiffany, for us.
Are there any public comment?
All right, this is our chance for public comment. If anybody would like to come off mute, it looks like I have Chris, Ina, and Topper, which are all GOTeam people. So I don't see anybody who would offer public comment unless Miss Topper wants to say hi to everybody.
See, guys, if you can just do your GOTeam trainings.
Thank you.
APS GOTeam is very
Hello,
adamant.
everyone.
Hey, Topper.
Hey, Topper.
Hello, Mr. Bland. Hello, everyone. I really enjoyed your conversation, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you, Miss Topper. Topper's our instructional leader up here at the building, so she's right next to her to listen in on this conversation.
All right, next we'll go to any announcements. I'll just announce this evening, the Buckhead Council of Neighborhoods, where Dr. Johnson will be tonight, and it is from 6:45 to 8:15.
And that's at, do you know the
It's at the
location?
Piedmont
The
Center.
Piedmont Center, because I thought it was gonna be closer, and it's not.
Right, exactly. But Zoom is an option too.
Yes.
So if anybody wants to Zoom, I can Zoom it out. All right, and we have reached the end of our agenda. Are there any additional business at this time? No. All right, so may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
A motion to adjourn.
All right, okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna close it out.
Meeting